Hello, welcome back to another video. So for today's video I thought we would do some Valentine's romance recommendations. I've been seeing a lot of people do these over on YouTube and I love watching the recommendations, so I thought I would do my own. The romance genre is something that I've not long been getting into over maybe the past year or so I don't have a lot to recommend, and basically all the ones that I've got, to be honest, ones that are popular. So sorry if I'm gonna be repeating some books that you might have seen other people recommend, but these are ones that I really like, and especially if you're not really a romance reader but you want to get into romance, these are the ones that helped me a lot. And then I thought afterwards we'd just go through all the other romance books on my shelf, and yeah, we'll just go from there. So the first one that I'm going to start off with is my favourite romance series ever today, and that is the Windy City series. So these are the first three books, they're the ones that I've read. So we've got Mile High, The Right Move and Caught Up. I thought I had them in the wrong order then. So these all follow the same characters in Chicago. Each character is kind of featured in each book. You probably could read them as interconnected standalones, but I would recommend reading them in order, especially these two. So Mile High follows Stevie and Xander's. Stevie is a flight attendant, that's probably the right way to do it. Stevie's a flight attendant and Xander's, I think he plays not baseball, hockey. Xander's is a hockey player, so that's about them too. And then The Right Move is about Indy, who is Stevie from the first book's best friend, so she's also a flight attendant, and Ryan Shea, who is a basketball player, and Ryan Shea is Stevie's from the first book's twin brother. This one's more forced proximity because Indy has to move in with Ryan because she gets kicked out of her other house that she lived in with her ex-boyfriend, so you can see where that's gonna go. And then this one is my favourite of the series so far. I feel like I've said that about each and every book each time I've read them, but this one is about Kai and Miller. Kai is a baseball player and is a single dad, and Miller's dad is who's Monty, I think he's called, or something. He is Kai's coach, I guess you could say, or boss or whatever. So Miller is brought in to look after Kai's son while they're on the road because he ends up firing every other nanny, but obviously he can't fire this nanny because it's his boss's daughter. So these are all great books. They've got like a good amount of spice in them if you like spice, but just the way that they're written and how the characters connect with each other, I absolutely just adore. Like, they are quite long books as well, but I feel like you can just get through them really quickly, and I just really love this series. I'll obviously talk about the other two when I get to them because I've not read them yet, but yeah, they are great books, full of great characters, full of just greatness, and I love them, and they've just got my heart. I love them. So if you're thinking about getting into romance, I would definitely give that series a go. The other one that I want to talk about, the other series, is, I haven't actually read this book yet, but I don't have the other books in the series, is Paisley Hope's Silver Pines series. So this one is Free in the Wild. I'm not sure who this one's about because, like I said, I haven't read it yet, but we've got Holding the Range, Training the Heart, and what's the last one called? I always forget the name of the last one. Let's see if it's in here. Riding the High. So Holding the Reins is the first one, Training the Heart is the second one, and Riding the High is the third one. The second one, Training the Heart, is my favourite one. Holding the Reins is about Nash and Cece, and Cece has her brothers who are all in the next books, and she lives on Silver Pines Ranch, and Nash is like a best friend of the family. So she comes back from travelling or being away or whatever, moves back home, and obviously gets a job when she gets back home and ends up working for Nash, but she doesn't realise, I don't know if she realises at first that Nash is friends with them all, or if she just hasn't seen him for a long time, but either way she ends up working for Nash, and then that's how they carry on. And then the second one is about Ivy and Wade, and I think Ivy comes to work on the ranch, or is Cece's friend, I can't really remember, but Wade is Cece's brother, and he's more of a cowboy rather than Nash was like part cowboy, part kind of businessman. So that one is my favourite because Ivy and Wade's connection is just pure everything. And then the next one is about Cole and Ginger, I think, and Cole is a single dad, so again you've got that single dad trope. and I think he's a sheriff. So yeah, Ginger is a girl who is Cece's best friend and likes to get in a lot of trouble. So, you know, you can see how that's going to go, and you've got the girl who's getting in loads of trouble and then the sheriff as well. And I really liked their connection. I just feel like it wasn't as fun and as strong as Ivy and Wade's in the second book, because they had the correct amount of banter, I feel like. But Cowboy Romances, I'm here for any day of the week. I can't wait to read this one. This one is about Cassie Spencer and Hayden Westbrook. I feel like we haven't really met them yet, unless we met them like in the final book. I feel like sometimes with these series you usually meet the characters in the next books towards the end of the book, so I'm not sure if I can't remember to be honest. But either way, I'm very excited to get into this one soon, and hopefully I am going to. It's got a lot of trigger warnings, which is what I like about her books, because she does put trigger warnings in. But yeah, so that is another series that I would definitely recommend. They can again be read as interconnected standalones, but I would recommend reading them in order. And then we've got another cowboy romance. I've added this in because I've read and finished this one recently, and I'm excited to carry on the rest of the series. So this is Flawless by Elsie Silver. I'm probably one of the only people that has not read this series yet. I read it for the first time the other day. I was scared to read it because of the Silver Pines Ranch series. I thought, no, I can only like one cowboy romance series, but I was wrong. So this one is about Summer and Rhett. So Rhett is a bull rider, and his manager is Summer's dad. And basically Rhett gets into this altercation and ends up having to kind of like be babysat, so he doesn't jeopardise the rest of his career, especially while he's on his bull riding tour. So Summer gets roped in to kind of babysit him and make sure he's not getting into any more trouble, make sure he's, you know, playing it safe, being good and all that thing. And then obviously he can't fire her again, like we had in one of the other books. He can't fire her because it's his boss's daughter, so, but he also can't do anything with her, you know, he can't fall in love with her or anything like that. And as we all know with romance books, that's just never how it's gonna go. So yeah, this one was, I just loved this one. I rated it 4 stars. Again, the banter, I feel like for me with romance books, it's the banter between the characters. If they can have a laugh with each other and they can wind each other up, I respect that and enjoy that so much more than just kind of like a mushy romance, if that makes sense. But very good. You learn a little bit about bull riding as well, which was kind of cool. And then obviously the next one is about Summer's brother. No, she doesn't have a brother. A friend, Rhett's friend. No, Rhett's brother. One of them, Rhett's brother, sorry. Malfunction in the brain. Rhett's brother is in the next one, who I think is called Cody or Colby or something. Cade. I was close. Cade and Willa. So Cade is Rhett's brother, Willa is Summer's friend. There's so many different names that you've just got to remember with these series. And then the final series that I'm going to recommend, I'm just looking at my shelf. No, I haven't read any more. The next book that I'm going to recommend is Binding 13 by Chloe Walsh. Again, I feel like I'm the only other person in the world who has not read this series yet. I really enjoyed this one. As you can see, it's a chunky one, so I did half listen to it, half read it. But this one follows Johnny and Shannon. Shannon comes from kind of a broken home. Her father doesn't like her very much, but her mother is not strong enough to stand up for Shannon, and Shannon is the only girl with 4 brothers, I think she has, 2 older, 2 younger, and she gets a lot of support from her older brother Joey, who has moved out, I believe, with his girlfriend, but does look after his sister a lot, especially against her dad. And Johnny is a football, rugby, baseball, football player. I want to say like American football, rugby, yeah, rugby player. I feel like because they all play sports as well, like it's hard to remember who's who. But Johnny plays rugby and he is like the star of the rugby team. Everyone's rooting for him to be the best of the best at all times. And as you can imagine, on a teenage boy, that's going to have its consequences and it's going to be difficult. So they have an altercation one day where Johnny actually ends up knocking Shannon unconscious without any fault of his own, and that's kind of how they come about. And it's quite a slow burn with their romance, which I really liked, considering of how big the book is as well. But it was nice with this one because you got to learn, as with all the romance books actually, you get to learn a lot about their characters personally, individually, rather than just as a couple as well, and this really came through in this book. I would definitely check the trigger warnings, because the scenes, especially a couple of scenes towards the end, I don't usually get bothered by trigger warnings. I don't read them because I'm not usually triggered, but they're hard to read. They are hard to read. So I'm very excited to carry on the series. I do actually have the next book, which I'll show you in a sec. But yeah, definitely check the trigger warnings for this one. But it is a nice, lovey-dovey type one in part, and Johnny is very protective of Shannon, and I love that. He's just got that protective kindness about him, considering they're only teenagers, they're only in college. So yeah, and apparently that is becoming a TV show as well, which will be nice to watch. So obviously, because I've just talked about that, I do have Keeping 13, which is the second one in the series, book 2. This is again, it's about Johnny and Shannon, but I think it's like going on to the next, because of the way the first one ended. I'm excited to see what the answer was to the first one in this book, and then I think that one's just following on, and then possibly this is the last one that's going to be about Johnny and Shannon, and then the next ones are about different characters. But again, it's a chunky one, but I'm very excited to read it. They look chunky, but to be fair, the writing is quite spread out because there's a lot of dialogue in them. The writing's quite spread out, so that's always good. But yeah, I'm excited to carry on that series, and I really want to hope and see what goes on with Shannon next. And then we've got the last two in the Windy City series, so we've got Play Along and Rewind It Back. So Play Along is about Kennedy and Isaiah. So we meet Kennedy and Isaiah in book 3. I think Kennedy is friends or works on the, she either works on the baseball team or she's friends with Miller. One of them, maybe she becomes friends with Miller, but I think she works, yeah, she works on the baseball team actually, because this one is fake marriage, I believe. So they go to Las Vegas. Kennedy has broken up with her boyfriend. Isaiah needs something, does something or needs something, needs to be married in some way or something, or Kennedy does, but somehow they end up getting married, and they have to kind of play along with it and see how far they can get and make it look realistic, basically. So I'm very excited to read that one. It feels smaller than the other ones, but I'll be getting to that one soon. And then Rewind It Back, it goes all the way back to Mile High, and is about what's he called, Rio. See, these names I'm really bad at, but it's about Rio. It's because I got the bookseller proof, so it doesn't have the blurb on the back. Let's see if it's got it here. Yeah, Rio and Hallie. So Hallie actually used to live next door to Rio, and Rio plays on the same hockey team as Xander's in book 1. So that'll be nice, because it's kind of like looped right back to the start of the series for the last book in the series. But I feel like I think it's called Rewind It Back because obviously Hallie and Rio used to live next door together, and now they've kind of rewound back in time and found each other again, is what I'm getting from it. But I was really wanting Rio's book when I was reading the first one. I was like, I'm really hoping she makes a book about Rio, and I think a lot of other people would too, and she did. So yeah, I'm very excited for that one. Then we'll just go through, we'll go through them quite quickly, to be fair, because I don't really fully know much about them, and nor do I want to. I prefer to go in my romance books kind of blind. So yeah, they are also quite popular ones as well. So we've got Things We Never Got Over by Lucy Score. No idea what this is about, but it looks like it's about a bearded bad boy, Barbara Knox, prefers to live his life the way he takes his coffee, alone, and Naomi wasn't just running away from her wedding. So maybe Naomi and Knox, I don't know if it's like, well, I'm gonna guess it's not college actually, because she was getting married. But either way, I know that's a very popular one. I feel like I want to save it for spring, because just the vibes that the cover's giving off. I feel like a lot of them you can read around Valentine's Day, and I'm really hoping to get to the next one in the Windy City series and the next Paisley Hope one as well, like by the end of February. And then we've got The Pumpkin Spice Cafe by Laurie Gilmore. This is the first in the series. I don't think you have to read them again all together, but I feel like you would probably benefit from reading them in order. This one I probably will, I say it every year, but I probably will leave it until autumn time, because even though it's not set in autumn, from what I've heard, it's got the autumnal cover. So yeah, I'm excited for that one. One that well, these are a couple that I don't really see much about, but we've got A Whiff of Scandal by Carol Matthews. I think this is just from a charity shop, to be honest. I don't know. It's about Rose, who escapes from London, and her charming handsome ex-lover. She has no idea her occupation as an aromatherapist will cause such a scandal in her new country village. All she wants is a bit of peace and quiet, but her new neighbours soon ensure that her life is more chaotic than ever before, but that may be because Rose is falling in love. So that's kind of cute, that it's set in a cute little cottage village thing, so I feel like that would be a good one for spring as well. It's got quite a nice cover, I don't know if you can see that a lot, but yeah, I'm not going to say I'm excited for that because I don't really know much about it, but you know, it should be a nice read, to be fair. And then we've got one that I'm going to save for summer, which is called Beach Rivals by Georgie Tilney. So this is actually set in Barbados, I believe. I think she goes, oh, Bali. I'm not good at these. She sees a job advert for a 3-month bookseller position on a Bali beach. How perfect. Like, can you get any more perfect? A bookshop on a beach in a very hot climate. I mean, I'm not one for hot climates anyway, but a bookshop on a beach, I'm down for. So yeah, that one's about that. Then we've got this one, which is Christmas at the Ranch, which I was going to start at Christmas, but I didn't really read in December, so I will save it for next December. This is a cowboy one about Emery Oaks and Tate. So yeah, that one should be cool as well. Obviously I do really like my cowboy romances, so a cowboy romance set at Christmas you can't really go wrong with. And then we've got this, I feel like is a Christmassy one, but I feel like that's just the cover making it look Christmassy, but it's called Just Haven't Met You Yet. And I feel like this, I think this one possibly, correct me if I'm wrong and you've read it, but possibly this one could be about a mix-up of like suitcases at the airport type thing. But yeah, that one should be good as well. I'll quickly show you my last one because my camera battery's flashing at me. Then we've got Kindling as my last one, which is set in the Scottish Highlands and will be read in autumn as well. So sorry, I'm gonna have to cut that short. Thank you very, very much for watching this video. If you did enjoy, please like, comment and subscribe. Let me know what's on your romance TBR. Have you read any of these? Did you like them? All that sort of things in the comments. But thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time for a new video. Bye.